There we go. All right, guys, very quickly for those who might watch the replay later, I'm Alicia Watkins, the director of our team Dream by Faith, and we are doing August 2nd's Teamie Tuesday training. And tonight we are launching our very first business binder for the fall winter season. I always like to start all of our Teamie Tuesdays with some shout outs. It's only the 2nd of the month, so I don't have a whole lot to report today as far as shout outs for August, but I did want to shout out Cynthia, Heather, Amy, Kim, and Cassie, all of who already have some PRV in the books for August. That's a really big deal because I shared this with the leaders, but if you didn't know, it's actually fairly common to see a little bit of a lull after a really amazing week or month. And since July was, really good for us, it's kind of normal for us to have a little bit of a slow start to the month. So keep doing what you're doing, be consistent, and it will happen, y'all. It will happen. All right. I don't think I need sound. We should be good. All right, let's hop right into this business binder because I want to make sure that we get through all of it, or at least as much of it as we can. Again, if you guys have questions, please ask them. I do have the chat box kind of open on the side here, but it can be sometimes a little difficult to see. So if y'all see a question in the chat box, or if y'all see that someone's in the waiting room, let me know. Just unmute and say, hey, check the chat box, or whatever you guys need to do. So this is the business binder. I think that you guys have probably already seen it because everyone here currently is Dream by Faith. So you guys got access to this morning. You can tell this is mine. I purposely have not filled it in other than here and in one other spot. I started to fill it out so you guys could kind of see what I was planning with it. But I'm not going to go through how to put on the picture and all that stuff because I feel like we need to get into the meat and potatoes. You guys can obviously put your own picture on there. I have a little placeholder there for your picture, but the picture just makes it pretty. It doesn't really do anything for us. So let's look. This is in like edit mode. So if you're typing, this is the mode that you want to be in, guys. But I actually typically look at mine in full screen mode. It just makes it easier to read because it makes it bigger. So I'll kind of go back and forth as we're working through this. If you haven't played with this thing, I did want to show you guys this. These are clickable tabs. So that's why I made it this way. You can come back to this at any point in the month. You can come back to it in September, October, November, anytime in the season, and specifically review like your goal setting. You can come back and review the best practices, and those links kind of linked through the tabs. They're going to make that easier to do that. I'm not going to read this to you guys word for word at all. You guys are intelligent people, but I wanted to kind of skim through the informational pieces, and let's try to work on the actual reflection and planning pieces together. So I think everyone here pretty much knows my intent with the business binder. I asked the leaders on our team, Dream by Faith, I asked, what do you think it would be a good training? And I actually gave them a long list of options, like which trainings do you think would help you? And which trainings do you think would really help your team right now? And a business plan was the most received response from, like, I think everyone said they thought a business plan would be a good idea. So I tried to figure out, well, I can't really just make my own business plan and give it to you guys. I wanted you guys to be able to kind of form your own, because we all have different goals. We all have our own ways of working, Cincy, and we work it for different reasons. So I figured this is really the best method, or at least the best method I've thought of up to this point. So the intention here is to hopefully give you a space to reflect. Think about what you've done in the past that has worked well for you, or what hasn't worked well for you. Think about what you've done in your best selling months. Think about, times when you've been successful, times when you haven't been successful, and try to dig into the why behind those things. That way you can take the good and use it to elevate your business in the fall. This is the fall season is the crazy season with Scentsy. And what I mean by crazy is it stays pretty busy. Sales in this season, in my experience, are always higher. And that's also a trend across the entire company. But you're still going to have to work. You're still going to have to share. Excuse me, y'all. You still have to do the reach outs. If you're not working, it's not going to happen for you. But if you're working through this season, you can achieve a lot of growth. All right, so we're in our first space where we have to kind of do some independent work, but I want to do this fairly quickly. If you do not have this binder open, because I know some of you may be working with just one screen, or you didn't download it, or whatever it might be, you guys can just jot stuff down on paper. You can always transfer the information over to your digital binder later. If you need the digital binder link, I know a few people joined us since I shared it. If you want to just put in the chat box, like send me the link, we can send it back over to you. But here's where I want you guys to talk to me a little bit. And you can talk on the mic, or you can utilize the chat box. Remember, if you do use the chat box, I'll kind of repeat what you said so that the people who are replaying can be kind of in on the conversation, but I will not say your name so that you can remain anonymous if that's what you're going for. So the reflection space. Initially, I left this page blank and it just said, reflect. But then I realized that some people would need a little bit more direction. So what is your current title? For me, it's director. My team size is 45. I know for some of you, the numbers are going to be very, very different. My average monthly, and be honest with yourself, you can go into the workstation and pull like real numbers if you want to. I'm just going to rough estimate, and I'm going to base this on like the last 3-ish months. I'm going to say it's somewhere around about 1,000. That might be a little lower than my average, but it's fairly close. Number of Scentsy Club subscribers, again, I'm guesstimating, I think it's 13. I think might be 11 or 12, but that's a rough estimate. You can check your workstation, of course, to find out. So anyone want to chime in and tell me why you think I'm having you guys put that information in there? Remember, you can talk or you can throw it in the chat box. Either one is cool. I'm watching the chat box for responses. Why the heck?
So we know where we started and to set more goals.
Exactly. Like before you even start thinking about goals, you have to really evaluate where you are. So wherever you are right now, that's what you're putting here. And then this is going to help you kind of look at where do you want to be. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But when you're looking at reflecting, that's the first step. This is where I'm at. I actually went back through my workstation a couple of days ago because I started getting curious. It was yesterday because I was looking at the incentive stuff, and I realized that in my first several months with Scentsy, I had ridiculous growth. I joined in July of 2020. I tell you guys that all the time, but I was a lead by the end of August 2020. I was a star in November of 2020. I thought that I had promoted to superstar in that season, but when I went back and looked, I realized it wasn't. It was sometime in early 2021 when I hit superstar consultant, and I stayed there for a little over a year before promoting to director. So you kind of got to look at where you are and then figure out what's feasible and attainable for you to get to. I'm not saying it's impossible because I have heard success stories of it happening, but it's not very likely that someone is going to go from essential or certified consultant to director in 1 or 2 months. I have heard stories of it happening. There was actually a lady on Southern Wax Warriors who became a director within like 2 or 3 months of joining. But that's a lot of recruiting, obviously, that she was doing to make that happen, and a lot of PRV rock stars. It's not likely, but it is possible. I would obviously tell you guys to aim high, but also be considering, what's feasible. Like, you don't want to set yourself up for disappointment. So let's do some considerations here. Consider what you've been doing well with in your business. Everyone's doing well with something. So tell me, what do you think you're doing well with in your business? You can tell me or you type in the chat, either one, but I want to know, what are you doing well with?
Sharing new products.
Sharing new products. And I would say that that is very, very true for Britt. She's the one who chimed in, if you guys didn't see that. Britt is sharing in her stories, sharing in her customer group, like every day, every single day. Look, Cassie said recruiting, and that is really exciting because for a while, Cassie felt like recruiting was a struggle. And then she's gotten 2 new teamies in like the last, what is it, like 2 weeks or something, maybe 3 weeks. I can't remember when the other one joined. So that's the thing that I want you guys to think about, like what's going well for you right now. I am going to say that my thing that I feel like I'm doing pretty well right now is with leadership and sharing on social media. You can't put more than one thing. So if you have, a list of things, put them there. What areas do you feel that you need to improve upon? Don't say everything. I hate when people say everything. Like, I really want you to focus your attention here. 1 to 2 things that you really feel like you need to focus on to improve.
Making connections and reaching out.
One-to-one reach outs they're scary. They're so scary. So I think that's even something that I would put. I've been slacking a little bit lately. So I'm going to say one-to-one communication and follow-up. What else? What else do you guys think that you need to focus on? Somebody else. Somebody else. Remember, if you want to remain anonymous in the recording, you can use the chat box. Setting time to the side to schedule posts for a busy work week. 100% yes. I have not had that difficulty in the summer because as a teacher, obviously I have the summer off. So I've actually been doing more of my posting on the fly. But during the school year, I had a really good system for scheduling posts. I usually would schedule my posts for my customer group for the entire week on either Saturday or Sunday. Now I would still add some like on the fly posts here and there, but I would have 2 to 3 posts per day scheduled for my customer group by the time I went to bed on Sunday night. And therefore, like if something happened and I didn't get in there to do those on the fly posts, the post would still happen. So that is something that you can definitely work on. Hopefully my little posting plan at the end of this binder will help us with that too. So this last question is a doozy. And I think that consistency goes with all of that stuff. I didn't overlook that answer. What is currently holding you back from your success? This is a loaded question because first you have to consider, well, what exactly is success to me? Because my definition may not match your definition. But what is currently holding you back from your version of success? I think that the answer I just saw in the chat box might be part of my answer, even though it was to the last question, and that's consistency. Y'all saw I typed in happy mail for things I need to improve on. I have found personally, I'm going to use that as my answer, consistency. I have found that when I'm busy in the school year, I am better at staying committed and being consistent because I have to schedule my time to do what I know needs to be done. In the summertime, I have a bad habit of I can do it later, it's okay. And then I don't do it. So I'm going to say mine would be consistency, because I know what to do. The thing is, I'm not always doing it every single day like I should, or on a routine like I should. Some things don't have to be done every single day, but you should be doing them kind of consistently. I did want to hear y'all's answers, but y'all, we gotta move this thing along. I don't want us to run out of time. So I'm gonna go back into full screen for a second. Business basics. You guys hopefully have all already seen this. This has been shared out on our team page and in some of our Teamie emails. Melanie kind of recreated the foundations of business, what I'm calling here our business basics, probably about a year ago. She calls it the 4-way to success, which is what you see here. I usually call it the crossroads to success. And basically it tells you the 4 key components of your Scentsy business. Self-care is very important. I don't know if you guys saw my live earlier, but today self-care for me was eating McDonald's French fries and ice cream in my car in the front yard so that my kids would not bother me because I was overstimulated and I need some quiet. That was my self-care today. Follow me for more tips. But then when you look at Scentsy, like the actual inner workings of our business, PRV, more specifically higher PRV, mentoring and sponsoring, that's how you're going to grow and become more successful. So I added a little bit more to that. So things that I feel like are super important that we have to kind of define and keep in mind. Relationships. I think someone a few minutes ago actually said making connections. That's what the relationships part. And this is something that you have to do with your customers and your team. My customers send me memes, tag me in so much stuff on social media. And guess what it usually is? What are they usually tagging me in? Y'all can guess because y'all probably have tagged me in the same thing.
Halloween stuff.
Halloween stuff. Like literally an hour ago, someone sent me the Hocus Pocus charcuterie board for the millionth time. Like everyone is sending me that thing. But that is a part of the relationship building. Like people know I'm a Halloween fanatic. So you want to make sure, partly is what Cassie has given us here in the comment box down here at the bottom, make sure that you're sharing who you are. That's going to build the know, like, and trust factor. Your customers and your team, they need to know who you are. They should like you to an extent, I hope. And then it's going to build trust with them and keep them coming back. The more connections and relationships you make, the more you're going to have those leads for people to buy, host, join. And then obviously once they join, you want to have what a lot of times we refer to as a sticky culture so that they actually stay. Moving right along, parties. Guys, keep in mind, party scares a lot of our customers, just the word, but there are so many types of parties. You don't have to call it a party. You can call it a personal shopping link. You can call it a rewards program. You call it whatever you want. But we should be doing them in some way, shape, or form. That's one of the easiest ways to grow our network and also help us to over time grow our team. Scentsy Club. If you're not familiar with Scentsy Club, you should be acclimating yourself to what it is, how it works. If you can work it into your budget, I strongly suggest that you set up a Scentsy Club if you don't have one. Remember, it's free to join. All you pay for is the products that are in your club, and it's free to cancel. Just having the experience of being able to say, I ordered this through Scentsy Club. This is the discount I got. This is how I club, is going to pay off with your customers. But the key is you have to share that with your customers too. And then I look at sponsoring and mentoring as two different things. Sponsoring, I look at as that's the active recruitment and the first 70 days of a new Teamie's business. That's when you're going to be a little maybe more connected, offering more assistance, checking in on them, because those first 70 days can be confusing for them. And it's also very critical to kickstarting their business. So sponsoring is the recruitment and the new period. They're a new consultant in their first 70 days. Training and mentoring, that's based on the team that already exists. Everyone on the team. And I want some of us to get out of the mindset of, I don't have a team. I'm a certified consultant. I don't have any teamies, so I don't need to train. Or I have a team of one, me and one more person, so I don't need to train. What I think really would help a lot of people is to practice your training and mentoring while your team is small. Because I can tell you that the larger your team gets, it becomes more difficult to figure it out along the way. I wish I had done more training and mentoring when I did have a team of 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Because by the time I started, my team page and actually doing training, I had probably 20 or more people, and it made it difficult to figure out what was going to work for me. Just saying. So practice, and I'm going to show you guys some of how you can do that in just a minute. Let's get moving. All right, so SMART goals, y'all. We want SMART goals. We want to keep in mind my bolded quote up here: what scares us usually serves us. Offering people a host exclusive kit. I know several people on our team, including myself, have done that today or in the last couple of days. One-to-one reach outs. Several of you have told me that was scary, but boy, it paid off. And now I have orders. What scares us serves us. So as you're setting your goals, I want you to keep that in mind. So our goals need to be what we call SMART goals. So we want our goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. What we mean by that is, instead of just saying more PRV, how much more? Be specific. Be specific. Because when it's specific, it becomes more measurable. Now we can actually track it. Attainable means like it's not too far-fetched. Like, I'm not going to say like I want 100,000 PRV. Like, that's crazy. We want to make sure that it's attainable. That makes it realistic. And then time bound is like giving yourself a deadline. So I'm going to focus on like a monthly goal here, but also you can think about, okay, if I have this monthly goal, you can chunk that into weekly goals. And I don't think she'll mind me saying it, even though she's not here. She's already put it on our team page. That's why Cynthia said, I want 500 by the end of the week, because I'm aiming for, I can't remember, I think she said 2,000 PRV by the end of the month. So she looked at it as, okay, if I want 2,000 by the end of the month, I need 500 each week. So she's already broken that down for herself into those specific and time-bound goals. So our goals need to be SMART. So here's another working page, and we're going to work quick because we're running out of time. I talk too much. So my big scary goals for the season, if you want to chime in, I'm going to type mine in here. I don't even know if I have typed this in right. So for me, guys, it is earning the trip and director consistency, which is for 6 months in a row. That means being paid at title for 6 months in a row. All right, I'm going to keep moving. Y'all chime in at any point if you want to. I am rocking and rolling because I know we're low on time and I want to get to this last piece. So monthly goals. 2,000 PRV a month, that's mine, doesn't have to be yours. I have talked on Dream by Faith. I strongly suggest that you aim for 500 or more, especially because I know a lot of the people on here are leaders or want to be Cincy lead consultants or above. So 500 to me is like bare minimum, because that's the minimum requirement for paid at title. Maybe push for 1,000, push yourself a little bit. I am aiming for, at this point, 1 new clubber per month. 1 new Teamie per month. I also had a different thing that I put on Dream by Faith. I don't remember. And then this one I'm adding because I am strong arming some of you guys. Post, how many posts are you going to post on the team page weekly? Because I'm going to show you guys my Code of the Campfire talk. So I do like every day. So I'm going to put 5, but by all means, guys, put 1, put 2, put 3, just put whatever it is that you know you can actually do, because I'm going to be asking you guys to help me keep that team page flowing with information. Daily or weekly action steps. I'm going to kind of skim over this for now, but this is where I want you guys to think of what can you actually do to achieve your goals. What do you need to do? Sharing consistently, one-to-one reach outs at least 1 time a week. And for like, I know some people were saying like, I have a full-time job, I'm busy. Having a system in place will help you with that. because you can say, okay, on Friday, I'm going to do follow-ups. And, keep them short and sweet to the point, move on. But we're short on time, so I am rolling quickly, y'all. Story of my life, y'all. Y'all know I talk way too much. All right, so code of the campfire, very briefly. This is actually something that I got from Orville, one of our co-founders and CEO. He's on that mission overseas right now, but he is still our founder. Look, it's already telling me you got 10 minutes. So there's a link here so you can see his keynote address that I'm referring to. But when I say keep the fire hot, act like you're brand new consultant, y'all. When we get new consultants, they often have a lot of energy because they're chasing, those beginning awards, shooting star and sensational start. So that means they're aiming for high PRV and they're aiming for recruitment. You need to have that mentality every single month. And you can honestly recycle it every 15 days and tell yourself, I have to do this. It will help, I promise. So stoking the fire, you're on a team. Even if you have no downline, you're on a team. Stoke the team fire. And I give examples in here of different ways that you can do that. At the bottom, you don't have to do all of these things. These are just kind of suggestions. I want you to think about what you can do. So what could you train on? What do you feel confident in? What skills do you have? Some people have gotten really, really good at Canva. Some people do really well with like new creative ways to share in stories. Some people find the most boss flyers ever. Share those. Maybe you're good at the themes that we use on our team page: Motivation Monday, Tip Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday, Fun Friday, whatever it might be. And then if you see a news tab article and it hasn't been shared yet, go ahead and share it on the team page. I'm rolling fast. Compensation plan, you should know, but I included it here just in case. There's some leadership information for leaders. Since we're low on time, I'm gonna go right past that. Tips for success. Again, this is something that you can read through on your own. So I don't really need to read this one to you. This one, we have 7 minutes to talk about, and it's probably you're going to have the most questions. So this is what I was rushing to get to it. This is my social sharing plan. It's kind of a brand new concept that I've kind of come up with. And I actually changed mine a smidge from the version that you guys got. So the version that you guys got, I think it says buy, host, and join over here on the left-hand side. I actually decided to change mine up. But basically what I am doing, and you can see I've already filled it in, is I am making something that can help me plan, but also track what I've been doing on these different avenues in my business. I was talking to someone literally yesterday or today, and they said, I feel like I get repetitive and I'm sharing the same thing over and over. Well, this is one way you can curb that, because you can share it in different places. But it could be, somewhat similar content in different places on different days. Studies show it often takes someone around 7 times to see something before it fully sinks in. It's okay if you're a little bit repetitive. Change a little bit of how you're sharing it, but you can share the same thing multiple times in different ways. So you might want to switch yours over here on the left-hand side. You might leave it the way it is. It's kind of up to you. But what I'm doing here is I'm tracking what I'm sharing in each place so that I can kind of vary it each day. So yesterday I talked about buying. And if you haven't figured out buy, host, join, I'm aiming to do all 3 of those in some way every single day. So yesterday on my main profile, my public Facebook profile, I talked about the buying stuff, right? New catalog, here's the shopping link. I also dropped the joining by saying something about the trip incentive. And I said, you can travel with me, and I dropped the join link. In my customer page, which I call my VIP page, I did similar. I had the shopping links, but I also said, I don't even remember how I worded it, but I talked about hosting. I think I used a little flyer, like get one of these warmers if you host in August. In my stories, BTS means behind the scenes. Yesterday in my stories, I shared the little behind the scenes of this business binder. That is showing the business side of what we do at Scentsy as Scentsy leaders. So it alludes to joining without saying join. Today, on my main page, I talked about joining. I can also go ahead and add buying there because I've also now shared the ocean ombre. On my VIP page, I focused just on buying today. I posted a couple of different posts about buying. In my stories, I talked about joining and having a host exclusive join kit. I went live today on my main profile talking about buying, and I did the behind the scenes reel of this business binder. So each day, guys, I'm looking at buy, host, and join on main, customer group, and story. I hope that's making sense to you guys. If it's not, ask questions. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim to go live at least 3 times per week. And I'm going to aim to make a reel on Instagram at least 3 times per week. And the reels are also going to vary. Some of them will be about buying, some will be about hosting, some will be about joining, some will be about teacher Alicia or family Alicia, but I want to have at least 3 reels spread out throughout the week because I did see I was getting a lot more social media engagement when I was doing reels more consistently in the past. I don't know if that was clear or if it was super muddy, but what do you guys think about this little social media buy, host, join, kind of keeping us straight so we don't forget to do one or the other? We got 3 minutes. Y'all talk to me. Anybody else feel like they get into a rut and they just keep sharing buy this wax, buy this lotion? Do you guys feel like maybe sometimes you do that? I know I do it. Y'all are cricket quiet. If you're shaking your head at me, I can't see it. All I see is myself. I feel like I'm back in virtual teaching in 2020. All right, guys, so we have 2 minutes. I'm going to impart my last piece of knowledge, and I hope that this helps. So the social sharing plan, it is just a tracker and a planner. So you could literally go through this and put buy, host, and like diagonal it so that you're switching things up every day. Right now, I'm kind of working on the fly, so I'm putting it as I go, and then I can look at it and say, okay, right now on my stories, I haven't really been talking about things to buy, so I want to share some products that are currently available in the catalog, that kind of stuff. That's why I kind of created it this way. If you really want to grow in this fall season, you're going to need to grow in multiple aspects of your business. You do want to grow your PRV. That's an always given. We want to grow our PRV, but you also want to grow your network. That's why I'm specifically putting on here, share those host opportunities. And you're going to want to grow your team. So that means you want to consistently be sharing the join opportunity in some way as well. And you don't have to say join my team to allude to someone joining. When you share like a behind the scenes, it shows them a different aspect of your business that applies to consultants. When you shout out a Teamie publicly, that shouts them out in a way that lets other people see, oh, it's not just my friend who is being successful, but their team is also successful too. So that alludes to that joint aspect. I have 1 minute. Woo. So in that mindset, I also want you guys to remember social media is where we do things publicly, but the private behind the scenes stuff is what makes things happen. This is how you plant the seed. Don't forget to do the one-to-one reach outs as well. Guys, it's going to cut me off at any minute. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I do love you guys. And thank you for coming. And if you have questions that I did not answer because we were short on time, please reach out to me or share on the team pages and I will answer them. You can try to ask a question now, but we're going to get cut off in just a second. Y'all went super quiet on me.